cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna leave. I'ma get right. Get right. Down to the bottom and scratch it for all the...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Our league. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
But I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I roll my sleeves up.
What up? What up? What up, world? This is Frank here at Get Right Fantasy Network. I'm here with my boy Ant Rastafarian. We're doing another Get Right Fantasy show tonight. We're talking about buy low, sell high roster management show tonight. How's it going tonight, Ant?
Doing good, man. It's my favorite show. I had to leave you solo last week, so I'm excited to get in here, talk some trades tonight. We'll take your live Q&A. I'm so excited, man. Tell the folks what we got in store for them.
Yeah, man. We had an exciting week last week. A lot of Q&A going on. Then Anthony was solo last Monday. A little switch off here, but we're here together again tonight. We got the Thursday night football sit start, so we're going to preview a little bit of that game. Got some injury news and notes and updates for let you guys know what's going on in the leagues with some of the guys here. You're going to have myself and Anthony's top 3 trade targets, and we're looking to buy and sell. We're going to do the buy, sell, hold, real quick shoot game. And then obviously the live Q&A towards the end of the shows, all from the chat. So, keep stay tuned in. We already see people logging in right now. What's up, folks? Let's get some Wednesday started here right before Thursday night. I know you're excited. You got your hat on tonight.
Yeah, man, got the hat on. Excited to talk some Niners here in a little bit. Before we do, for the folks that are new out here, man, just letting you guys know we are here with you guys 7 days a week. Sometimes multiple shows per night. We're just got done with the Extra Point with Phil Ruskin. He was doing his Dynasty trade show as well too, so bringing in that Dynasty aspect. Tonight here we are, of course, more redraft focused, but we'll take your Dynasty questions as well. But we're here Mondays doing waiver wires again. Wednesday buy low, sell high, and then Fridays we have our 2 shows. We're doing half of the slate, game by game, start sit, and then a second part 2. For the other half of the slate, and of course taking your live Q&A questions there. And then, like I said, make sure you guys are throwing our boys, Kendall over at the Fantasy Football Tavern, Phil over at the Extra Point, and our boy Tycoon here on Tuesday nights for you in the Fantasy Boardroom. So again, make sure you guys are down in the description, hitting those links for us. And then we're here with you Sunday morning doing your last minute start sets for the actives and actives with Classic Mike, man. So we got a ton of content for you guys here. Hit that like and subscribe button for us, and make sure you check out the description again for those timestamps and chapters, as well as those links to our affiliate channels. So again, support the channel, and you can always throw us a super chat as well. So you ready to get this thing going, man? Let's get into it.
Super chats, right? So get in there on that, guys. You want to make sure your question gets read first. Make sure you give us a super chat. We'll, drop everything we're doing. We'll get right to you guys and make sure we get your question answered in depth as much as possible. So we appreciate the support on that side of things here. Let's get started. We're looking at Thursday night football for sit start. What do we got here? We got San Francisco tonight and the Seahawks. San Francisco's at 2-3. The Seahawks are 3-2. They're opening at San Francisco's at 3.5 favorite. Over under is 47.5. That was the opening, but it's currently San Francisco still same 3.5, but now it's 49.5 points on the over under. So that's going up a little bit.
Most likely because George Kittle looks like he was dealing with that ribs issue. He was kind of questionable there for a while. Looks like he will be a go in this game. So I do have him as a must start. here as well. And other than that, everyone else is pretty healthy, obviously outside of Christian McCaffrey, which is a whole different story. We won't go here tonight. But I have guys like, Jordan Mason, you're getting him in this game. Ken Walker, you're starting these guys, DK, Debo, Ayuk, coming off a nice game last week. I think you're starting all those guys. The guys I kind of want to talk to you about that, maybe people, in bye week situations here, because we do have, 4 teams on a bye this week. So let's see. We have Kansas City, the Rams, Miami Dolphins, and Minnesota Vikings all on a bye. So when it comes to the quarterbacks in this game, Geno and Purdy, how do you feel about these guys here this week?
I'm starting both of them. I know Geno had a pretty decent last game here, and Purdy's just kind of been struggling a little bit. But I mean, it's a divisional matchup with you guys, and obviously the points at 49.5 is not too bad. So if that's the spread there, if they get to that over on that, it may not be so bad. I mean, you got a bunch of points being scored, so hopefully these guys get out there. I mean, they can't go wrong. I think it's good game to be a shootout basically. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have to get the points up in there.
Right. For sure. And Geno is actually sitting as the QB8 and or QB7 and 4-point passing touchdowns right now. We have Brock Purdy at QB12. Again, not a couple guys have only played. They had a bye week like Hurts and Goff, or else I'm sure they'd kind of be up there. But even still, as far as points per game, you're looking at Geno as QB9 and Purdy a little bit lower at 15, and again that's in 4-point. But yeah, so I mean, depending on your situation, I don't mind starting these guys against one another. What do you think about the receivers here, outside of course Metcalf, Debo, and Ayuk, JSN, Lockett, and Jennings? How do you have them as starts or sits this week?
Well, I did want to mention just really quick Ayuk because he finally had a decent game last week. And we hope that trend continues. He finally woke up and is doing what he needs to be doing for the money he's getting paid. So I'm happy to see that, have plenty of shares of that guy. JSN, he's been coming quite along. He's been doing some things and keeping up with the guys. I think he's opening up this year. Not necessarily a breakout season yet. I think that's still in the book for next year, possibly, because he's still going to be behind DK. Lockett, kind of a flex start, I think, at this point. He hasn't been producing as well. Jawan Jennings, you kind of keep firing it up, but I mean, now with Debo back and Ayuk, he might take back seat to those guys. So you kind of got to start with some of that in mind, some regression in mind, maybe a flex start still. And Charbonnet I would keep going with as well. Although San Francisco does have a good tough defense, so you got to be careful with those running backs against them.
Yeah, and as far as these defenses giving up points to wide receiver, they are ranked 22nd, the Niners are, and the Seahawks are 24th, giving up 19 and 17 points per game to the wide receivers position, so a little stingy there. But there is some I believe Tariq Woolen's out in this game. You have Talanoa Hufanga out in this game. It is a short week, and you know how those things kind of go. They could either go really bad or really good. One way or the other. They're always a little funky, these Thursday games.
Yeah, didn't you guys lose some offensive lineman guy or something like that during that last game? Like you're saying, there was a short week.
Hargraves. We lost Hargraves for the year. Yeah. Torn pec, I believe it was. So yeah, so our interior defense, you got Fred Warner dealing with a ankle injury too, nursing that, so he's not at 100%. So it could be a little interesting game, and like you said, it's a divisional game. They always play us well, but hopefully we can go in there and take care of business there. Also dealing with the 12th man. So I probably have, like you said, those guys more of like fringe type guy, fringe flex guys. I'm not starting them in like 2 wide receiver leagues. I prefer more as like a desperate wide receiver 3, or flex. And Jennings, I'm probably sitting, like you said, with Dubé and Ayuk back. What about Charbonnet? He's an interesting, guy there. We've seen Walker come back, but Charbonnet still does have a role. Do you feel comfortable, starting him this week with, a couple guys out if you had to, get him in your lineup?
I'd say more of a flex play also. I mean, not as a full on, like, oh, this is why I have to start. Obviously, if you have a situation where that's the guy, but I mean, Walker is the lead back. He's shown it since he came back. It was like, let me get some more touches and eat right into that. So again, just flex play.
Okay. And yeah, obviously with Walker back, he dropped down to 42% of the snaps against Detroit, only played 36% of the snaps against New York, only had 2 carries each in both those games. Nice carries, 2 for 15, 2 for 11, so good YPC. But you do like to see that he is still being worked in on third downs, getting 5 targets in the last 2 games, catching 5 and 3 of them respectively. Hasn't found the end zone, but with that type of target share, with Walker being back, I think, like you said, in desperate situations, you can get him in there as a flex in a full PPR league. I'd look elsewhere in, half or standards. So,
yeah, because this is a tough defense. You guys got a tough defense still. I mean, on that note,
for sure. And then I have Noah Fant as my only sit.
If it's season here, what's up, man? Joe Ortiz is up here. The reason bringing that up is he's going against Walker tomorrow, and he hopes to bottled up by San Francisco D, since we're just talking about that.
I hope so too, Joe. I hope so too.
Don't get him started.
We need a win, man. We need a win. That was brutal, man. 1-point loss to the Cardinals, man. The Cowboys lost to the Cardinals last year and wrecked their season. How do we lose to them? Anyway. All right. So we'll move on here. Let's get into let's try to bang through these news and notes as quick as we can, because again, we want to get to your guys' questions. We're not ignoring them there, but we will kind of get through the show here, and we will get to your questions, of course. But let's do some news topics and injury updates. So just real quick, obviously we all know Robert Saleh was fired, so we'll see how that goes there in New York. Very interesting situation. We'll probably do a whole show on that, but we won't. Fantasy show here, so we'll try to keep it to fantasy. Raiders QB Aiden O'Connell named as the starter this Sunday, although wide receiver Devontae Adams still dealing with that hamstring injury. He's not expected to play when O'Connell will make his season debut, so to speak. He obviously played last year, but he did okay and fed Adams, but Adams not going to be there, so I don't know how that's going to go. Russell Wilson back at his first full practice since aggravating his calf injury on September 5th. Tomlin's already come out and said he's basically, Justin Fields still the starter at quarterback, and he's not going to consider Russell Wilson as an option until he can do multiple days of practice and show that he's improved his health with his calf. So looks like, Tomlin's still supporting Justin Fields there. So that's kind of good to see. But obviously he might be on a short leash.
Long as Justin Fields has a bad game. Yeah, exactly. Right. Says he has a bad game, he's done. And I think that Robert Saleh situation is just rough, man. Yeah. That guy just didn't even get to say goodbye to the players or say anything. Or
he didn't come back on the plane from London. Probably.
I heard he was supposed to fire the offensive coordinator himself, and
Aaron Rodgers said, "Nah."
Nah, yeah, right.
Nathaniel Hackett's his guy. Next thing you know, he was hacked instead.
And they kept replaying that part of the video where Robert Saleh was trying to give him a hug, and Aaron Rodgers just blocked that whole nah, not now, or whatever, wasn't ready for it, or we haven't won yet, or whatever. He can't read his lips all the way, but yeah, it's just crazy, right? Crazy situation right there.
For sure. All right, so we'll get through the rest of these. Yeah, so a lot of injuries, of course, to go through. Again, it is just Wednesday, so again, check back with us on Friday once we have the rest of the practice report. So again, we're not going to overreact to any of this too much, but just stuff you want to be aware of, because it may make a difference as far as setting your lineups, or maybe who to go after with trades and things with some of these guys and having question marks. So you have Saints quarterback Derek Carr. Looks like he's going to be week to week dealing with an oblique strain. So it looks like rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler has been announced to make his rookie debut. I believe now him and Drake May here this week. It'll be the 5th rookie starter here this year. We have Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed dealing with the hip injury, and running back Alvin Kamara dealing with the new hand injury. They were both DNPs today. Again, not overreacting. It is just Wednesday. Anthony Richardson, he was limited, so you like to see that dealing with his oblique injury. The Flacco owners probably are like, just take another week off. Let's get Flacco in there.
It's just better for the wide receivers in general that way.
For sure. And speaking of which, a lot of injuries there with the Colts. You have both running backs, Trey Sermon dealing with the collarbone issue and Jonathan Taylor dealing with that high ankle. Both were DNPs today. And then you even have wide receiver Michael Pittman popped up with a back injury kind of out of nowhere. And he's expected to be sidelined multiple weeks and could even be considered for IR. So definitely something to keep your eye on. A.D. Mitchell, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, who also was DNP with an ankle. Yeah. I mean, they're all banged up over there in the Colts. So who they playing this week? You might want to go get their DST. Whoever's playing against them. On some unfortunate news, we had out of nowhere, Nico Collins
Tennessee
went from being dated. Oh yeah, and they're a good defense too. Oh yeah, might go get some Tennessee here this week. Nico Collins dealing with that hamstring injury. Originally they were saying, oh, he's day to day. That escalated very quickly to week, and now literally placed on IR just a few days later. So that's a tough blow. Big pump up for Diggs and Tank Dell. So we'll see how that goes. And then again, we talked about it on Monday on the waiver show. Xavier Hutchinson might actually be a real thing here now for the next 4 weeks. So if you were able to get him off waivers for cheap, you might have a semi-long-term investment. You're kind of taking things 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. You're getting a starter for at least the next 4 weeks and see how things go from there. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson, some good news here. He was limited in practice today dealing with that ankle. Obviously thought that was going to be a lot worse, avoided IR and is back now. So hopefully he's getting a little healthier. We have both Eagles wide receivers, A.J. Brown dealing with that hamstring, Devontae Smith dealing with that concussion, both practice in full coming off their bye week.
So those are good news.
Yeah, that looks like they're training to come back. So good news for those Jalen Hurts owners as well. Interesting, Malik Neighbors still DNP after missing last week. And remember, he played 2 Thursdays ago. Or last Thursday, now a week ago, not even just Sunday. So, or 2 Thursdays ago. So he's already missed a week after a long, mini bye week, and now still DNP the following Wednesday. So it's a little tough to see. So definitely keep your eye on that. But they said he is progressing through the protocol. But we'll see what happens. Darnell Mooney, Falcons wide receiver, popped up with a knee injury.
That'll be good for Wan'Dale Robinson, though, right?
Yeah, and Slayton. They both did pretty well.
Slayton as well. Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver for the Panthers, Deontay Johnson, he popped up with an ankle injury this weekend. He was limited today. So, at least he's limited and wasn't DNP. Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson, he's dealing with the foot injury. He was a DNP. Bengals running back Zach Moss dealing with that foot injury still. He was DNP. You have Patriots running back Devin Singletary. Groin was limited. Looks like from what they said, looks like he's
Giants?
trending in the for the Giants. Or why is that? My bad. Giants. Good catch. Good catch. All right.
I was
looking at Mondre still. Yeah, no, good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm Ron Burgundy. Yeah, just reading the teleprompter over here, not even processing. So Giants running. Let me reset that. Giants running back Devin Singletary dealing with that groin injury. He was limited, but looks like he's trending in the right direction to play this week. You have running back Jaylen Warren dealing with the knee injury. He remains doubtful, but was limited today. They're kind of seeing how he responds to practice. Then you have Browns running back Nick Chubb. He's just saying day to day. They're kind of seeing how he comes out of each practice as he's recovering from that brutal knee injury.
That was rough.
Have his practice window open, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Vikings running back Aaron Jones dealing with that hip injury. At least we got some type of update. They're saying he's continued to be evaluated. I didn't think we'd hear anything actually until next week, considering they're on a bye this week. So they're just saying all the other information we've got so far, it looks like that they avoided a long-term injury at least. They're saying they classify him week to week. So potentially could return when they come back from the bye. That'll be 2 weeks out. But we'll kind of see, what happens. Those hips can be a little, a little aggravating. So that's should wrap up your news and notes. Frank, you want to tell the folks about our boys over at Underdog Fantasy?
Really quick before I tell it about Underdog
Fantasy,
sure. I want to mention Giants running back Devin Singletary again. The hot waiver wire out of the week. Tyrone Tracy over there probably earned the spot to start splitting some carries with that guy, and a lot of guys. I think there's a situations going on where they're going to be in timeshares, and some of these things aren't as bad as they used to be. I think some of these guys, we're just used to getting lower production from some of these guys because there's very few and far between quarterbacks that just carry running backs. That carry load nowadays. So you kind of have those mixed running back rooms in the back. You got to roll with it. So with that said, you guys got to check out Underdog Fantasy. It's the best place to play fantasy sports. You enjoy your best ball draft tournaments all live off season. So we do live streams on those. And the best ball leagues are where you just go in, draft your team. No launching tournament, no waiver, no trades, no weekly lineup setting. You just set it and forget it. You draft, and you can draft hundreds of teams. And if obviously it's for money, so you'd like the chance to become, hopefully make some money on that. It doesn't replace your redraft or dynasty teams that are managed. So, if you could get on some of those are great. Also, right now we've got a bunch of pick 'em contests. And you do basically a pick higher or lower on those guys, like for stats of total yards and touchdowns. And you just pick higher or lower on those, and you can stack several of those and even get multipliers on those. So those are really great. Currently, right now, we do have this promo sign up right now for a deposit. You get a 50% deposit match on that, up to $1,000 bonus cash right now. So use that promo code GETRIGHT, as you can see at the bottom of the screen right there. So, yeah, come support our channel. If you haven't done so already, join Underdog, check it out, try it out. It's really fun. I mean, they got all kinds of betting going on. If you're a betting man and like fantasy football, that's the place to join them.
There it is. I like what you said there. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, yeah, we'll get into our next topics here. We see you guys' questions here in the chat. We will get through kind of our trade targets. If we see anything that kind of matches with who we're talking about, we might incorporate that question, but we want to get through this as quick as we can so we can answer as many questions for you guys as we can. So
I'm going to do it real quick, though, because Joe Ortiz is like, I only root the 49ers for fantasy.
I'll take it.
Hey, I can see you back too, Joe, man. I got it. So,
for sure.
Go ahead. Let's get it. Let's get it started here. Where we at?
Let's do it. Let's bring up the banner. Yeah, top 3 trade targets. So, Frank, let's start with you, man. I'll give you the floor first. Give me your top 3 trade targets that you're looking to buy. So, give me your top 3 buys for this week heading into week 6.
I'm looking to buy Breece Hall, man. I'm going to go with him, Chase Brown. That's a buy target, and I'm still buying Sam Darnold, man. Those are my top 3 guys that I'm looking to get. Breece Hall just hasn't been doing good. Obviously, with the just firing Robert Saleh, it's basically putting everybody on notice. After back-to-back losses, they don't want to have any of that happen. And they face Buffalo Week 6, who have basically given up the most fantasy points per game for running backs this season. So it's a good opportunity for him to get right. It's another get right opportunity for these guys. And so, that's, a good guy to go shoot after. He hasn't been producing well. I think you could get him. Sam Darnold had an off week last week. It wasn't the best, but I think he'll be able to come back after a bye week facing the Lions, then the Rams, then the Colts, and the Jaguars over the next 4 weeks. Not some bad matchups. I think he'll have his things, straightened out. And lastly, as I mentioned, Chase Brown, the Cincinnati Bengals, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games, and he's worked himself into the timeshare. We were really high on him as a late pick this year. If you were able to hold on to him, or are able to pick him up, or have been, that's a good option for most guys. So I'd go buy those guys or get them if you can. Those are my top 3 guys.
All right, so recap him again for me.
So we got Sam Darnold, Breece Hall, and Chase Brown. But let's put it in order. Let's go Breece Hall, Sam Darnold, Chase Brown. Let's put them the 2 running backs first. Breece Hall, Chase Brown, and then Sam Darnold.
I was already typing it up, man. So that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get.
All good.
So Frank's top 3 buys: Sam Darnold, Breece Hall, and Chase Brown. So maybe you can return the favor when I give you my 3 here. So we'll talk about my top 3 trade targets here. The buys I have here for this week. One of the guys is the one we have in our thumbnail. I'm going to go with Travis Etienne. He's someone I think that, obviously with the kind of couple nice runs that Tank Bigsby's had, I think the Bigsby kind of, it's there. There's definitely I don't want to say a threat, but he's definitely not like a workhorse CMC back, right? There is a second back going to be involved here. But when it comes to PPR, Etienne is someone who is still getting, that that passing work. Like that's going to give you a nice floor for him anyway. He's it's like having a rushing quarterback, right? You have someone who can do a little something else in that position. They still will use him on or near, kind of the goal line or in that, red and green zone, if you will, maybe like a 4th and inches or, 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, inside the 1 or 2. Maybe they don't give Tank the ball. But maybe with this emergence, we can see more sets with both Tank and ETN in the backfield and start getting real creative with ETN and maybe putting him out in motion and turning him more into a wide receiver, doing screens, things like that, and really, have that threat and unpredictability with having both of those guys on the field. Something that I almost envision when CMC gets back, kind of a potential role that he might have with him and Mason to take some wear and tear off him. And then I think they're doing it on purpose as well because they want to keep him fresh for the back half of the season. Remember last year, they put everything on his plate. We're giving him like 80% of the work. He was, basically like RB5, I think, for the first half of the season and then completely died out at the back end. So, what do we want in fantasy? I'd rather have somebody where they're kind of lightening his load early and then maybe make that push for the playoffs later. I think ETN is someone you can buy now. He has the talent. He is worked into that offense. He is a focal point of that offense. You have the emergence with Brian Thomas Jr. there now. Christian Kirk starting to make some plays. Gabe Davis is basically faded out. You'll have Evan Ingram come back even then, and then I think that'll really start opening up more stuff for ETN, and again Bigsby hopefully playing, at the same time. So yeah, ETN. I know I went a little long on that, but he is the thumbnail guy, and that's what I think about him. I'll be quick with my next ones here. I'm gonna go with since you kind of had Brees, I'm gonna kind of obviously try to get those top guys. Like if you get Brees, Bijan, like Kamara, with the car news, like always shoot for those guys, right? But someone else you might be able to go for now, might still miss another game, not guaranteed to come back this week, Joe Mixon. This offense is missing him, obviously Akers and, Dargun Bawale has been doing pretty nice, as far as the PPR in the last game. But, this offense is, missing Mixon. And then obviously with Collins going down, I assume they're going to put more on Mixon's plate, assuming, his health. So he might be someone you can sneakily get to, especially if that owner's maybe lost the last 2 games with Mixon down. Maybe you can, put a package together to get yourself a little Joe Mixon if you can. So he'd be my second guy I'm going after. And then I want to go after, I have kind of 2 guys, I like to kind of just work the system a little bit here. Frank, I'm going to go with the guys that we know by 3 initials. That's going to be MHJ and BTJ. So Marvin Harrison Jr. coming off a little bit of a dud game last week. I think we talked about it week 1 when he had that bad game.
It's like went over 6 guys by the way.
That's what I'm saying. I had to push him. I didn't get to talk last week, so I'm kind of making up for last week.
It's all good.
So Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., not even like a buy low on either one of those guys. I think they're worth it. You're not like selling the farm, so to speak, but if you can, put a package together to get those guys, if the owners may be teetering, again, with all the injuries coming back, or maybe you have Kupp or Puka coming back, maybe you can turn him into one of these guys who kind of is healthy, is, a little younger, maybe not Puka, but Puka's still going to be out for a few weeks, but you know what I mean? Like someone you can get now, and not really feel like you're dropping a tier. So that's who I'd like to go after. So let's go to you. Let's talk about your cells. Who are your top 3 cells?
I want to recap your guys.
Oh, there we go.
Obviously 10, Joe Mixon, and I went go ahead and
okay. I was like,
right?
I thought you were going to put like a scrolling one up there with all my guys.
The guys because you didn't mention the whole Brees, Bijan, Kamara situation. And
yeah. That was just a quick mention. Yeah,
because I do like MHJ, and I have quite a few shares of BTJ. Bryce Thomas Jr. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to get him or not.
I'll buy high on him. I'll pay.
But you might as well just you got to pay for the guy, and he's producing as a rookie. He's proven he can get it done.
And you want really those wide receivers that have bad defenses because that means they're going to be in potential shootouts. Like they're not just going to salt the game away.
They're not going to just be.
Trevor Lawrence going to turn over the ball and look good and look bad, but he can hit that big play. So yeah, I really like some BTJ. All right, so go ahead, man. Turn it over to you. Let's get to your cells. Who are your top 3 trade targets for your cells?
So I was trying to sell Cooper Kupp right now. I know he might be coming back, but it's just, how are you going to trust that injury? So I think if he comes back, people will be happy to pick him up off of you, that he's back, but I'm just not trusting him anymore. with these injuries, and people feel like, hey, he's going to have the control of the backfield with Puka still out and things like that. So you could possibly sell high on him. Another guy would be Jerome Ford. Just he hasn't been producing too well, and he had a decent game. So he's got trouble breathing down his neck, and it's time to move on for him. And I also had Christian Kirk here listed. And I forgot what the deal was with him. But honestly, I forgot. I should have put my notes on this. But
Too much research.
Yeah, no, I read way too many guys earlier on there. So I would definitely go, just kind of move on him.
Probably with Brian Thomas Jr.'s emergence.
Yeah.
Is that what you're kind of saying? Like he's not
that's what I was kind of thinking. Because
there?
BTJ is just killing it over there, man. So, if you can, I would move on Christian Kirk. I just don't see it getting any better for him. And he still has name value out there, so you could get somebody for him.
Perfect. All right. So to recap that again, Frank sells are, so I'm kind of updating it here.
Cooper
Frank
Kupp,
sells are Cooper Kupp, Jerome Ford,
and Christian Kirk.
There you go. All right. So we'll move on to my sells here, and then we'll get to your questions. So make sure you drop them there in the chat. So let's talk about Rasta's sells. So had to buy some time while I was doing the banner. All right. So the sells I have here. So I'll go with the other guy I have in the thumbnail. That's going to be Terry McLaurin, man. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I stand corrected. I wasn't big on him, coming into the end of the season. Wasn't sure, what we were going to get from Jaden Daniels, but he's come out, and been on fire. Terry's last, games have been good, but they have been decreasing. I mean, he didn't score the touchdown this last game. He's not going to score a touchdown every game. But if you do take out his touchdowns, he's still only scoring, about, 10 to 12 PPR points. I think with the hype going on right now with Jaden Daniels and just kind of that team, you can capitalize on it. I'm not saying just give him away because you're scared or something like that. I'm just saying use that hype, use that increase in value to maybe where he was after, week 1 when he only scored 3.7 points, and week 2 against the Giants when he only scored 8.2 points and everyone was freaking out. So you could potentially capitalize on that. Maybe turn him into a Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe Brian Thomas Jr. plus, something else, a nice running back, something like that, depending on, what kind of injuries and things you have. But definitely, he has some value right now. He is kind of the hot, thing, and has, strung together a couple nice games. So I think there's some potential there. You can turn him into an even better piece. So yeah, Terry McLaurin I have as number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift. So DeAndre Swift, I think I had him actually as a sell last week as well, because he's coming off now 2 pretty nice games. Again, he had that 29-point game against the Rams. Yeah, and then comes back and get 20 points. But again, it was against Carolina. He did have 21 carries for 73 yards, which is actually worse, at 3.48 yards per carry than what he had against the Rams, which, I mean, they're probably just as bad. But he had 16 for 93 and a touchdown there. But the thing was, he had 7 catches for 72 yards against the Rams because it was a more competitive game when they were going back and forth. So, again, there's going to be ups and downs, with this offense. They does get Jacksonville a bye, then they get Washington, Arizona, New England. So it's a decent schedule, but again, if you can turn him, with this performance, package him with, someone else, maybe Swift and Terry McLaurin, and go get yourself like a Bijan and, something else, then, that's what, I'd try to do. Maybe you can even get Kamara, some of those guys, we were kind of mentioning that we're looking to buy earlier. So, yeah. So, Scary Terry, DeAndre Swift are 1 and 2. And then we'll go with my number 3 guy here. And I'm going to go with Javonte Williams. So I think if there's any chance you have to sell Javonte Williams right now, while their fantasy community is kind of like, oh, okay, we're seeing something, back-to-back double-digit games, 77 and 61 yards respectfully, finally, got over 23 yards rushing, for the first time these last 2 games. Had some nice work in the passing game here against Vegas, 5 catches for 50 yards on 6 targets. but again, it was Vegas. I mean, they do get the Chargers, New Orleans, and then Carolina coming up. So maybe there's another chance, but if you can again package him with somebody else with these injuries that are going on, he could be a piece that I would be looking to kind of move off of, just because I don't like the offense and kind of where it's at right now, and I don't know if that's what I kind of want to put my eggs in, kind of as we approach the second half of the fantasy season. So my top three to recap are going to be Scary Terry, DeAndre Swift, and Javonte Williams. So that should wrap up our top buys and top sells. Again, drop whatever questions, comments you guys have there. We will get to them here shortly. But before we do, let's get to our quick rapid fire buy, sell, trade. We'll kind of cover a couple more names that you guys might be kind of considering if we have them as buys, sells, or hold. So we'll kind of rip through a couple of those, Frank. As you do, if you want to give a 5-second take or something, but we don't need a whole 2-minute take. Just meant to be...
keep that inside mind for yourself.
No, I almost say it like more so for myself. Like I know you're good. Right? I just have to just put it out there, speak it into existence, if you will. So what am I looking for here? Buy, sell, hold. Boom, there it is. All right, so this is going to be off the CBS roster trends. These are the most traded. Let me make sure I refresh it. The most traded players. So I'm just going to pick maybe 5 to 10 type of guys, and just want to get your quick take on if you're buying, selling, or holding these guys, because these are guys who are moving in leagues. So the kind of most traded guy they have right now is Garrett Wilson. Obviously with the Devontae Adams information. How do you feel about Garrett Wilson? Are you buying, selling, or holding on him?
I'm holding. I'm holding because the trade hasn't been done. It's just rumors. I mean, he's
coming off 22 targets.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like till Devontae Adams is over there, hold on to the guy. Like really, calm down.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm either later.
Yeah, I mean, I'll test the waters. I'm not giving him away. Like I'm not panicking if I think Adams is coming, but so I'm kind of in the hold or a hold or sell if you can get nice value. I mean, I'd kind of do all just depending on the situation, or I'd be looking to buy him if you can get the right price.
Oh, Anthony, he froze on me. He's going over the buy, sell, trade target. So I was relying on him to come up with a couple of the guys here. So let it get the opportunity to have him come back. I'm going to go ahead and look at some of the chats that you guys have been coming through here. Kind of preemptively get some of those guys in here. Smoking the cat here. You guys are talking to each other about some of these things, but I got over here at the top and Smoking the cat commented in the commission in the league where a friend accepted a trade in which I was giving Higgins, C. Brown, Keon, Chase Brown, I'm sorry, Keon, and I'd get Tyreek and Aaron Jones. We have a vote on WhatsApp that's appeared, but it started big, so I just canceled it. Because I just didn't want that stuff all season on them thinking because I'm a commissioner I was doing the trade. That's the tough part, Smoking the Cat, that you come in there and you're doing a pretty decent trade right there. I think Higgins, Chase Brown, and Keon Coleman for Tyreek and Aaron Jones. If anything, you're kind of buying low on Tyreek, but the name value is there. Higgins hasn't been doing much, but Keon Coleman has pretty decent games, and so does Chase Brown. So you kind of give him the 3 for 2. I'd see a pretty decent trade. But yeah, you don't want to have some thoughts of collusion or people that are being upset in the league, and that's what makes it tough to be in the commissioner to get those things done. Sometimes you might want to just throw it out here to the show. We could vote on it. We got some people here, and maybe kind of do some commissioning here, and maybe even get a couple leagues. I'm a commissioner in a couple leagues, and it's just a tough situation to be in, just to handle some of that stuff. You know what I mean? Another thing we're going on here, Xavier came in at full PPR trade, Mason, Etienne, and more for Bijan, Debo, and Butker. Huh. Actually had he had Moody, so he's actually trading kickers. I've never heard of anybody trading kickers. Unless you're in like one of our leagues right here, and we have a league that we have some very decent high scoring on the kicker, and they're pretty valuable, honestly, at the end of the day, because kickers matter too. So we kind of did a whole situation on that to get those guys in there. Let me think about it here. Full PPR, Mason, Etienne, and more for Bijan, Debo, Bucker. You're selling high on Mason. Buying low on Bijan. Debo just came back. Bucker's the kicker. He had more. And he's also got Godwin for Tyreek. Do you guys believe in Tyreek getting traded? I don't believe in Tyreek getting traded, but I would I would go after getting Tyreek here. I think that's a pretty good, decent trade. Also, Godwin for Tyreek. So that's a different situation here. This one I would go for. I think that's a pretty fair trade. I don't think you're going to be able to get Godwin for Tyreek on that situation. But we'll come back to that here. We're going to let Anthony kind of look into that here. Let's see. Antonio Lopez here coming in. Would you do Allen, Kincaid, Odunze for Hertz, and Njoku and GSN? So he's got Allen, Kincaid, and Odunze for Hertz, Njoku, and JSN. So Njoku's hurt. JSN's doing some pretty good, decent things, and I like Hertz. But Allen is having off and on games. Kincaid has been pretty solid as a tight end as of lately. And Rome Odunze right in the middle there. I think I would just keep the Allen, Kincaid, Odunze side. I'm not sure if I would move to get a hurt David Njoku and a JSN who's in the middle of stuff, even at PPR at that. I'm not sure if I would move on that. I'd stay with the Allen and Kincaid side on that side and Odunze. I think that's a better side of that trade. Let's see. We got another trade here coming in. And Mecca said, would you trade Terry McLaurin for Chase Brown? I have T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Lamb, Lundy, and Brian Thomas Jr. Running backs are Kyron Cook, Ford, Rico Dowdle, and Bigsby. Personally, I would trade Terry McLaurin for Chase Brown. I think we were just talking about Anthony was mentioning him as a trade option to move on that guy, and I have Chase Brown as a buy. So I would definitely go do that. You got a good, decent set of wide receivers there. Devontae Smith just came back off of injuries. CD Lamb, Lundy been doing good, and so has Brian Thomas Jr. I'm sure T. Higgins is just on your bench and may have an opportunity coming up here. And you get a good running back room as well. So I would definitely move on that and get that trade done if you get Terry McLaurin for Chase. So Anthony's back. We're just kind of go over some of these games. It happens, technical issues.
I don't know if I'm back per se. Can you even hear me?
I can hear you fine. You're good.
Is it? Oh, okay, because I went back to my old setup, so I don't know if I'm like back to Robo Rasta or not, even with the new mic, but I'll try to stay kind of back in a way. So
no, you're good.
Computer just like my whole internet just completely crashed. So I'm on the phone now, just like straight through my phone. So I have no access to my laptop. So I'll just let you run it, and I'll just give my 2 cents on these questions here, and we'll see if we can get through it.
Let me give you some 2 cents because I didn't go to too many. I was just kind of looking at them real quick and gave my take. Let's go ahead and reread them off. Or come back to Smokey the Cat here. Commission the league. So he's a commission the league, man. He's where a friend accepted a trade in which he was giving up Higgins, Chase Brown, and Keon Coleman, and he get Tyreek and Aaron Jones. They vote on an app there, and he was approved, but 2 started to complain. So he just canceled it. He just didn't want a lot of smack talking going on through the season, thinking he was doing some swindling trades. And like I said, I told him, I said, it's kind of a good thing that he backed out of it, but it was a legit trade. I think it's a legit trade. And I think that sometimes you're in a bad position being the commissioner because you get that extra eye on you. But I think that there's no collusion in there, and I think that's a decent trade.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, that's why Frank, like you and I, and I learned this from you. So you were my first commissioner, and I know like the way you rule with an iron fist, like this is not a democracy. Like this is a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Like you're in my league and I'm taking all the responsibility and I got to deal with all the problems and the issues. So like I'm setting the rules, and if it's a no veto league, then it's a no veto league. Like I'm not putting stuff up to a vote just because people get butthurt or maybe they wanted it. Like there's no reason why 11 other, or if it's a 12-person league, 10 other people have a say on a trade that 2 consenting adults made. I mean, again, as long as it's not collusion and there's no proven collusion there, even if it's a little lopsided one way or the other, sometimes that's the cost of doing business. Like sometimes you have to pay to get a deal done. It's not going to be fair if you put it in a trade calculator all the time. So as long as it's not something egregious, like you always hear affects the balance of the league, like injuries affect the balance of the league. You know what I'm saying? Like fantasy football isn't fair. Life's not fair. And to my whole thing, and that's why like I send trades out, because you never know what people are going to accept. And sometimes it's the spray and pray approach, and you never know how you catch somebody. We've heard many people, make it a drunk trade. Friends don't let friends trade drunk.
That's happening.
You know what I mean? So we got to put that on a shirt or something.
Right.
But yeah, so that's my issue. But yeah, I appreciate the commissioner side of that. I like the commissioner question there. But just full kudos to you as a commissioner of just canceling it and not like getting caught up in it. Because I tell you, if it was Frank or I, we would let you state your case, but we ain't changing it. Like you can complain all you want. But as long as we looked into it, and we do, like we'll call the people individually and be like, hey, like, what's going on? And if they're like, oh yeah, like, it was like, oh, this guy broke his leg and he's out for 7 weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Like if there's something like that going on, then yeah, you're reversing something like that. But yeah, if you call both people and they're just like, no, this was my situation, like, and no one else was responding to my offers, and so this is what we did.
Be complaining about it, like literally, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly, yeah.
It's
so
always an even 50-50 trade. Somebody's gonna be winning, somebody's gonna be losing, or whatever, vice versa.
Time will tell.
Just yeah, exactly. Because sometimes you trade off a guy, and it's happened with Anthony many a times where you trade off a guy,
Jamal Charles,
on the next week.
And AJ Green.
It was like the best trade for either other side, because you got rid of the guy at the time that he got the injury. So you never know. You never know at this situation. So, as long as you're happy with it and their guy happy with it, move on.
For sure.
We got
Good
Xavier
stuff.
here. He was like full PPR trade, Mason, Etienne, and more for Bijan, Debo, and Buckner. And he had Moody. So this is involving a kicker. So I was like, whoa, never heard of people trading kickers that much.
Yeah, that's nice. Appreciate that, Xavier. And I hope you like and subscribe. I don't know if I've seen you before. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind this trade if you're looking kind of for a shakeup and you're looking maybe for some more stability, so to speak, at the running back position. Because again, Mason's not guaranteed. CMC could come back, and obviously, at best case, it's a split backfield. He doesn't catch passes even. So in full PPR, I like moving off of him. Hopefully you have some running back depth, giving up both Mason and Etienne, but you probably got Mason off the wire or very late anyways, and you're turning that into a first-round pick in Bijan, and we haven't even seen the best of him yet. He's only scored 1 touchdown, and he's still like a top 15 running back. So I think, there could be more to come. That offense is, picking up, from what we've seen. So I don't mind that investment.
Oh, he froze again. Let's see if he comes back. You don't mind the investment here on that, because you are picking for futures here for Bijan. We are very happy with him. Oh, there you are. You're unfroze. Go ahead.
Oh, I was frozen? What was the last thing you heard? That means my internet might be back.
Futures for Bijan.
Oh yeah, so you trading like a waiver guy in second round, third round pick, and then you're more to Debo is kind of the same tier, and then you get your kicker to get replaced, from a guy.
Ooh, yeah, we're losing you again. On that note.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we'll move on to the next question here, because he also had another one going for Godwin for Tyreek. Do you guys believe in Tyreek getting traded? I don't think he's going to get traded. As we mentioned, so we lost Anthony again. So we'll move on. We'll try to see if I can get to some more of these questions, and we'll come back to him. I'll let him come back and kind of give his take on some of these guys as well, and move through some of the questions. So keep them coming, guys. We got plenty of guys here in the show, watching the show and in the chat. Let's get some questions going here. I got one here from Drunk Squidward. What's up, man? How you doing, Drunk Squidward? What could I trade Jordan Mason for? CMC is still a while away from coming back. What can I get from Mason? You can kind of ask pretty much a lot from him. That guy's producing very well on the 49ers. I'm not sure if CMC is even ever going to come back this year. And I'm not sure he should move away from him if that's who you have as your handcuff. That sounds like you had him as your handcuff. Um, and so, or is he a hold? I personally, I believe he's a hold. I'm not sure why you would trade him away. I'd have to look at who else you got going on. Um, but it sounds like you're 5-0 in the league. So let's go. That's what's up. But I think that you're 5-0 in the league because you have Jordan Mason, and I would not move on Jordan Mason unless you have some incredible reason to, and you have some faults in your wide receiver room where you need to get some improvement in your wide receivers, and then you can move on. But I think you could kind of get like even Jamar Chase at this point or something. I mean, you could get a top wide receiver for Jordan Mason because he's producing those kind of numbers. And I think everybody's kind of really weary of whether or not CMC is coming back this year or how is he going to perform when he does finally come back, right? It's not like he's just going to come back and start dropping 30, 25, 30-point games. You got to see what he's got. George, he's came in here. He said he just grabbed Chase Brown off waivers. Perfect. That's what you want to do. He's on there, and I like the guy. I mean, we were talking about him all preseason about picking him up. When we seen what he had last year, he's finally working into that timeshare, and I think he's going to be, producing very well going forward. We have Xavier coming in here. Just to be honest, I think that CMC doesn't come back until playoffs, if that. And yeah, that's a good point to have him in playoffs, but I would be scared to have CMC going forward. It's just hard. What's up, man? Give me a mic check here. Let me hear see what's going on.
Am I good still? Hopefully, I'm not Robo Rasta. Good. All right.
Good.
Yeah, I think it was a false positive. So it looked like I got internet back. I didn't. I still went back to my alternate setup here. So we'll see. The kids are playing Xbox right now, so I think they maybe because we're all trying to pull too much bandwidth. We're fighting over it, and I think they tried to reset the router and forgot I was live. So I'm gonna have a talking with those boys when I get in there.
From this hour.
Anyway, hopefully you guys are hitting that subscribe button for us, man. I promise we usually don't have these issues as much, especially now that I got my mic fixed. But hey, things happen from time to time. But again, hopefully you guys are hitting that subscribe and like button for us, especially if you're watching on Twitter, man. Come over here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for us. You can go back to Twitter and keep watching there if that's your preferred destination. But throw us a subscribe, man. It doesn't cost you anything, and of course, we'd really appreciate it. So again, go ahead, Frank, with the chats, man. I was just doing that to buy you some time to bring up the next question. Let's get through these things.
We did the
with almost 100 people in here. Yeah, I'm worried how many questions we got in there. I'm kind of worried. So let's get through these things.
We got some here going on. Antonio Lopez, would you do Allen, Kincaid, and Odunze for Hurts, Njoku, and JSN? I gave my take on it. I like the Allen, Kincaid, and Odunze side. Njoku's hurt. JSN's on the fence, and I like Hurts, but Allen has on and off games. But I know to Anthony, he's like the number one QB. Period. I'm not sure if he.
He's like QB 11 or something right now. I don't know where exactly.
I know because he's had 2 good games, 2 off games. I guess the 3rd game kind of going on.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. For me, I definitely want the Allen, Kincaid, Odunze side. I mean, I like what I've seen with Odunze. Caleb's getting a little better. So I want the Allen, Kincaid, Odunze side. So I would not do this trade. If that's what you're asking.
With me, Anthony's right there on the same page as I am. Let's go here with Emeka. So we kind of gave my take on this one. Would you trade Terry McLaurin for Chase Brown? And he says, I have T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Lamb, London, and Brian Thomas Jr. His running backs are Kyrie, Cook, Ford, Rico Dowdle, and Bigsby. I said smash. Get that trade done.
I don't think you need to, man. Honestly. I think I'd rather actually keep Terry McLaurin. You have Higgins, so I don't like having that wide receiver running back combo. I mean, I do believe in Brown, and I'm a big believer in him. But I think you have some nice handcuffs and a interesting piece there with Dowdle. But maybe you can take Terry McLaurin and Ford to the Chubb manager, and maybe go grab someone else there. Maybe you can go get a J.K. Dobb, someone who has a little bit more of a hold on that room.
I didn't mind it
or maybe
McLaurin
Higgins
as a sell, and I had Chase Brown as a buy and go get. that's why I was like, I would move on it.
Yeah, I just think you can get more for Terry than Chase Brown. You might be able to put a package together and maybe get like Demont. Maybe you can get, again, I'm always starting high with, the Brees Halls, of the world. Maybe you come off of,
And work your way down.
yeah, just kind of, he doesn't really need to. So, he has Kyron and Cook, like those are two top five, backs right now, I believe. Kyron, yeah, RB5 and Cook is RB10. So yeah, he has two RB1s. So yeah, and pretty nice depth with Dowdle and Bigsby. You could still even withstand Kyron or Cook getting hurt and still be, pretty decent, especially with that wide receiver core. So yeah, I look for another piece. That piece, maybe Brian Robinson Jr. Maybe like maybe like a Tony Pollard. Maybe you can go get Devon Achane, who's kind of hurt right now. Like I would like to go get Devon Achane right now for Terry McLaurin. You might be able to make that happen. So that's what I would be shooting for, something like that. Make it worth your while. ETN. Go get him with Terry McLaurin. I that would be nice, especially with Bigsby. Kind of will own that backfield. So that's where I'd go. Anyway, you got to stop me, Frank. Just pull up the next question.
No, that's right.
No,
Hey,
yeah, get it going.
I like what you were
Oh,
saying.
and change the banner. Change the banner to Q&A. But yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. So on that note, because of those guys that you just mentioned are just shooting high, I literally just did that recently when I did a trade in one of our leagues recently. I picked up David Wicks from the waiver wire. I shot for the guy's best tight end. I need some help with tight end. I have Mark Andrews.
Yeah, you got Brock Bowers.
And I got Brock Bowers for him because he didn't want to move on his other tight end, and I was like, okay, well, I was gonna already settle for Brock Bowers. I shot a little higher, and I was figuring, okay, he'll just be like roll it back. I'll just take Brock Bowers, and it worked out perfectly.
It worked out.
Get off a guy off the waiver wires who may or may not be. Who knows? Christian Watson may be back sooner than later, and I ended up with Brock Bowers. So you want to, that's how you kind of want to work some of the trade situations. Sometimes is shoot a little higher, work your way back down a little bit, maybe sometimes, and you end up with the guy that you're really happy with, regardless.
For sure.
So right now, I just had to look for that Q&A right now. So now we got Drunk Squidward here coming up. Well, it's HTR. I'm gonna get some of these. I'm sorry, we're gonna go backwards on a couple of these because I know you missed it. You're lost on audio. No audio. I can't hear you at all. Give it a try. Let me know. Just keep talking. Whenever I hear you, I'll let you know. So we got HTR Loft. I didn't read this one at all. I got Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney, Zay Flowers, and DJ Moore, and Chris Godwin, and T. Higgins. And I don't know who to start. Oh, so we got a sit start question. So these we handle more on Fridays when we go do the sit start shows. We have two 1 hour shows on Fridays there. But let me take a look here. Jaden Reed, I'm definitely starting him. Darnell Mooney, I really like him. Zay Flowers hit and miss. DJ Moore, I got to look at the matchup. I'm not starting T. Higgins. I would probably say Jaden Reed, Darnell Mooney, Chris Godwin. I'm not sure how many you need to start, but I'm going to choose three because I don't think you're going to have more than three wide receivers starting. So those are my three. Let's take a look at that. Let's keep it up here. Let's go to the next guy here. I think we covered Jordan Drug Squidward in the CMC situation. We got Chris over here coming in. Would you trade Sam Laporta for Bucky Irving and Isaiah Likely? Sam Laporta for Bucky Irving and Isaiah Likely? No. I just wouldn't do that. Irving, I know he's up and coming. Isaiah Likely is like hit or miss of when he's going to have a decent game. He basically had a touchdown since that first week. So you never know when he's going to get anything done. I'd still stick it with Sam Laporta. That's just me. I'll have Anthony take a look at that one as well, give you his opinion. Here's a guy that says, "Hell no, don't do that, Chris." So he's right there on there with me. So don't do that. So we got Nick Green coming in here. He's lost Rice, and I need a wide receiver, full PPR, willing to trade Chuba, Mason, Dowdle, Bigsby, and Mostert. I have Gibbs and Jacobs, but I am hesitant to trade them. I would not move on Gibbs.
Yeah, your best chance is maybe to package Mostert and or Mason.
Chuba?
Yeah, Mason and
Chuba.
Chuba, maybe to the Brooks owner, or someone like that. And, obviously try to go get maybe someone like BTJ, someone like that. Depending on how, people feel about him. That's kind of where I'm at. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Got my computer restarting now, just fully from the phone.
And he does say that. He's like, what kind of receiver do you think I could get with package Chuba and Mason? He literally said the same as I said.
And I'm literally restarting my computer, so I have no access to the chat, so I didn't even see that.
About that, guys. I got the chat going.
So we're on the same link. You come to the right spot, Nick Green. You come to the right spot. We're thinking the same thing. So there we go. All right. Where are we at? What's the next one?
He says, I want to start golf over Allen. Is that this week? Is that crazy? Starting golf?
Yeah, it's crazy. Start Allen, man.
Yeah, don't be done nothing silly, man. Stick with your starters here. Chris is looking for a wide receiver. I think I just went over this one. He says I lost Rice.
No, just everyone's lost Rice, man. It's a different question, but yeah.
No, he did have a different one up here.
Oh, while I was gone. Oh, okay.
He said, would you trade Sam Laporta, Buckaroo, and Isaiah Likely? I said no, not on that. And I think he had something else going on, Chris. But he's looking for wide receivers since the last QB. It's QBs of Murray, Fields, and tight ends Laporta and Ferguson. Wide receivers are London, Higgins, Downs, and Watson. Running backs are Hall, Jacobs, flexes Javante, Tolbert, Laporta, Watson's on a bye week, Addison and Chandler on bye weeks. So he's looking for a wide receiver. So what can he move to get a wide receiver?
Yeah, I would move Laporta because I think you're not going to lose much from Laporta to Ferguson. Just the tight end position, those top guys haven't been head and shoulders above the Colby Parkinsons of the world. So or Jake Kohler, not even the third string tight end in Baltimore is scoring more than Andrews. I think they're only a point off or something like that for the year. But yeah, so I'm looking to try to trade Laporta, and maybe you can go get a Scary Terry. Maybe you can get Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe you can go get Brian Thomas Jr. and something else if you're looking for something like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I would shoot, to see, test the waters. Laporta's kind of coming off the bye. I think he had kind of a decent game, I think last time we saw him. So, I would maybe try to capitalize on that. Because I think, Ferguson's going to do, just fine, in that tight end position. Cause again, I'd like to flip a tight end for a wide receiver versus, packaging a wide receiver running back for a wide receiver. So yeah.
And he's a virgin, man. And he suggests my first fantasy football.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Hey, just keep tuning in with us, man. Tune in with us. Connect with us, man. We're on the Sleeper app. We're on Twitter. All the information, probably more than you need, is down in the description. Make sure you check in our affiliate channels, man. We have shows, 7 days a week live. And I hope, Frank, you're finding the next question while I'm doing this little read and get it ready to go and pop it up and I'll shut up. But yeah, so, we'll get our flow going. But yeah, so Perry says trade Dobbins or Higgins for Higgins straight up. I would do that personally. I'll take Higgins and a full PPR.
Yeah, why not?
Dobbins' schedule coming up is a little tough. If you go look at it, it's kind of a tough running schedule.
Yeah, so, I agree. I wouldn't be afraid to move on him.
So yeah, hit that like and subscribe button, you guys. You can always throw us a super chat as well. Frank, you checking for super chats, man? You making sure no one's throwing us a super chat,
man, bro? Yeah. I'll try to get to that.
Hey, just scroll through. They'll pop out like a sore thumb, man.
Read this one right now as you can.
I got you. Yeah. All right. So George says we'll get our flow going here until my computer gets up. George says start 2 wide receiver. Oh, we're only at the hour mark. Oh, we're doing good.
We're doing good. Yeah. No,
so start 2 wide receivers, non PPR. He has DJ Moore, Brian Thomas Jr., Amari Cooper, Josh Downs, JSN, Jamison Williams. Seems like we haven't seen him playing forever, and Keon Coleman. So I have to get DJ Moore and Brian Thomas in there. I think over those two, Downs, I think I would probably have next. JMO's hard to sit out of these two, but I think it's a nice floor. And again, I don't know the exact matchups right now. My whole computer's restarting. And usually we do start sit on Fridays. But just looking at the players themselves, those are the guys who I think are hot right now that I want to get in the lineup. Who you got?
We got some more here coming up here.
Oh, I was going to say who you got for your answer on this, but we haven't missed any super chats, have we?
No.
Okay. All right. Good.
But getting to the question here, His start 2 wide receivers non PPR: DJ Moore, Ryan Thomas Jr., Amari Cooper, Downs, JSN, JMO, and Keon Coleman. I'm definitely starting Brian Thomas Jr. at this point. He's on fire. Um, Downs, JMO, I think I would consider. He's having some pretty decent games. And I probably, out of the last 3, probably DJ Moore. I know that it's Caleb Williams seems to be coming back into the fold here and getting stuff straightened out. So those are the 3 I would start. Oh, he's only starting 2, so Brian
Yeah,
Thomas Jr. and
those two are close for me. More and JMO real close.
JMO are really close, right?
I'd have to really know the matchups. Like I'd have to get in, weather and stuff like that. That might, kind of make a difference. I just don't know that at the moment. So yeah. So again, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button.
And should I add Juju? If so, should I drop Keon or Downs?
I kind of have all those 3 guys kind of in that same range. Actually, I feel like Keon's a little better being attached to Josh Allen and just so much opportunity there. So then I'd probably file Juju right in there next to it, just because we haven't quite, we've seen Juju kind of do it, but we're still a little skeptical. I think Downs is last there, but he's kind of producing the most at the moment. So it's a tough, definitely a tough decision. I would probably attach myself with the better quarterbacks and the known quarterbacks, as in Mahomes and Allen. So I'd probably go ahead and drop Juju, but really try to do a 2-for-1 trade and open up a spot and then go grab Juju. That's ultimately what what you'd rather do, even if you have to overpay, because you're still getting Juju as part of the deal. So whoever 2 you give up for who you get plus Juju, that's your trade. So
yeah.
Keep that in context.
And right now, you got Flacco going over there, and he's giving you some good production. But
and then Richardson might come back.
It's kind of rough. It's it's scary with Anthony Richardson. Derek.
Michael Pittman's out right now too. So they all. I can make cases either way with all 3 of those guys. So it's a good problem to have. Good problem to have.
All right, go ahead and read it off while I look some more.
Okay, cool. So we got Derek in here, and Derek, hopefully hitting that subscribe button for us. Hopefully we hit over 1.3 in this show. He says half PPR starters are Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. He also has 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. Would you trade Rico Dowdle and Flowers for Brian Thomas Jr.? Is giving up RB depth worth Brian Thomas? And a half PPR, I don't mind it because he is kind of the touchdown scorer, the red zone type guy, and he can score, from a ways out. I do really like Flowers, though. I almost kind of have Flowers and Thomas kind of at that same, kind of point. There's going to be games, though, where Flowers doesn't need to do anything because it's going to be a Derrick Henry and Lamar show, but we've seen him, have 12, I think 15, 16 targets or something like that crazy in one of these last games. So I don't think it's too much. I do kind of like Brian Thomas right now. And it also, again, depends on who you're going to get with Brian Thomas when you open up that roster spot. But I think it's a decent starting point for a trade. I'd probably want just a little bit more because again, I think Flowers and Thomas are very close, and Rico can be a low end RB2. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to reread it myself here because I was really reading those to try to figure out where I was skipping here. But I have PPR starters: Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, 2 wide receivers, 1 place. Trade Rico and Flowers for Brian Thomas Jr.
I'm trying to get on to help you with the chats, man. I'm trying to get logged on here.
Brian Thomas Jr. I think it would be.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr.'s proven to be
I like him, man. I like
the
him.
real deal. I'm happy that I have him, and he's just been producing, and it's not the best offense that he's on and everything else. So some of that's proven guy right there. It's kind of Neighbors over there in the Giants. We got bad QB play, but still balling out. So he's the number 2 over there. I like Brian Thomas. I would do that.
There you go.
These are actually funny videos here. He says start 3, Terry, BTJ, and J.K. Dobbins, Garrett Wilson, full PPR. So you got to start 3 out of Scary Terry,
full
Brian Thomas
PPR,
Jr.,
starting all 3
J.K.
wide
Dobbins,
receivers.
and Garrett Wilson. So we're definitely starting BTJ. So we've been talking about him so much. J.K. Dobbins, probably the sit. Garrett Wilson, still doing all right. And Terry. So I have to get those 3 and probably sit J.K. Dobbins. Do you agree?
Yeah, I said I'm sitting all I'm starting all 3 wide receivers.
All 3 wide receivers.
I don't know the
perfect.
exact matchups, but I'm pretty sure Dobbins has a fairly tough matchup here. Still not sure. I'll start the 3 wide receivers. I don't mind them.
So it's TR says I gave up Stephon Diggs for Jaden Daniels. That's solid.
Hey, if you needed a quarterback, it's tough to grade QB trades because they're kind of lopsided. Either way, technically you're definitely getting the guy who's going to score more points. By the end of the year. And yeah, if you went super late QB and you need a guy, that's top 5. I like the trade. Hopefully you have some nice wide receiver depth.
He's definitely producing. He's definitely running, getting you the extra PPR points and everything else. Dude's solid. Jaden Daniels should be here for many years to come here in the NFL.
I just like the completion percentage. Like that's what's promising. Like that's what we saw with CJ Stroud, right? He wasn't throwing a lot of interceptions. So
George says he forgot to pay his internet bill.
It's on auto pay, my guy. It's not the bill. It's the kids. It's the kids.
And I'm getting chased for Mason, but we're just throwing it out there, man. You got to shoot high and work your way down, as I was mentioning. Drunk Squidward is Chase Brown a start?
If you're in a pinch,
I think even as a flex, he's a start. Or these bye weeks they're coming up. And it all depends. There's a lot of injuries happening. You know what I mean? Like, that's what makes him a start. Because again, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. It's worth it.
And Moss is banged up. Moss is banged up with that ankle. So, yeah.
So we got Chris here coming in. Week 1 traded BTJ for Watson. That was my first mistake in fantasy football. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. Hey, you got to get through some of those, man. Got to get through some of those. But you found us. We'll take you through to the end, my guy. And I want to keep here with us, man. We'll get you through.
And this is for that guy right there, Chris, because he's the new guy. He's like, whoever the new guy is, make sure you tune back in. This is one of the best channels out there.
Hey, we appreciate that, Barry.
What's up, Barry? What's up, man? Where were we at here? I lost my train because I was moving around here. Oh, here we go. Jay Slay Fantasies says, would you trade Josh Allen straight up for Lamar Jackson or Hurts?
Lamar Jackson, yes. Hurts, on the fence. I want to see him back again with AJ Brown.
Second half of the season because of AJ Brown and Smith coming back. He's going to be basically full bore, and the schedule looks better for Hurts going forward. And just because of the way Allen's been playing, these 2, I literally have both of these. Those are my 2 starting quarterbacks in a dynasty league, Hurts and Jackson. So maybe I'm a little lopsided on saying that, you know what I mean? But
little biased opinion there. Full disclosure.
He's had on and off games. I mean, it's not as consistent as these other guys. And I heard that
he did lose AJ Brown like week 1, and then he lost Devonta Smith, and it was just he did some stuff with Goddard. You'd like to see him string it up. Like Lamar Jackson just seems like he's in the zone right now. Like he's having one of those potential QB1 overall type seasons, in my opinion. So I would do it for Lamar Jackson. It Hurts is a little closer, but I think they both have better weapons than what Josh Allen's doing, working with right now.
At this point, this is why are you trading for these guys? I mean, these are the top guys to be trading. So, I mean, why are you moving on them in the first place? This is the question I have. Jay Smells is, I need a running back, or should I do? What should I do? Here's my team. So here's his team right here. It says I have Rashad White, Brees Hall, Stroud, Jordan Love, Deontay, and Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., McBride, Kyle Pitts, Chase Brown, Jonathan Brooks, Tank Dell, Pollard, Metcalf, and Bigsby. So he needs a running back. What should he do with this team?
You need a running back? Is this like a 10 team? Because because for a 12-person team, I really like this. Like, you're missing like a stud wide receiver one, but I like Metcalf. Like, to me, Neighbors and Metcalf, like Neighbors is almost that stud wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's start 3 or not, but if you're start 2 in 1 flex, this is a pretty strong team in my opinion. Brees has kind of been down. But it's nice that you're going to have Brooks coming back here. Chase is just kind of that nice RB, 3-4 that you can kind of spot start here and there. Rashad White's going to give you some PPR floor. He's not going to be a workhorse running back like he was kind of last year, so to speak. And then, I mean, Love and Stroud, you have some great quarterbacks, McBride and Pitts. I mean, those are top, 5 drafted type guys. I mean, really no waste. Like, there's really nobody on this team that I have an issue with. So I would be happy to have this team, in my opinion. What do you think?
I second that. I was like, why are you looking for running backs?
Yeah.
You got
I'd be happy to have those running backs with all the. I got a team with CMC and freaking Pacheco, like, both gone. Like, it's rough out there. So I'd be happy to look at a running back stable like this with still having good wide receivers like you do as well, too. So, I mean, you got lucky with Brian Thomas Jr. You might be in a little trouble with just Devontae there. So, I mean, if anything, you can look like, I'd say go get Marvin Harrison Jr., but you already have McBride. And I'd rather keep McBride. But I'd kind of look at that tier of a guy.
But McBride's a little rough right now. So, hey.
Good team, man. Nice flex.
Yeah.
Nice flex.
Yeah. Would you start Josh Allen or Cousins this week?
I'm still going Allen, man.
Allen.
Like,
it's like a no-brainer. You got to keep going with that guy because he's going to score you more. The opportunity is there for him to score you way more than Cousins.
He can score 40 like any week.
Cousins did flash, though. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that's his is more a flash than a consistent, right?
Right. You're more like, if you would have asked you last week, who had if you would have said, Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen and gave their respective scores, you would have thought it would have been flipped. You would have thought Josh Allen, that would have been a normal, like, you wouldn't have been surprised that was a Josh Allen score, and you would have been surprised that would have been a Kirk Cousins score if you had their points switched. So yeah.
So Jason Mel's the
better stud running back. I mean, who though?
I like that.
Who do you consider a stud running back right now?
Picking up your question there.
It's brutal right now. I mean, Saquon. Are you going to go try to get Saquon?
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy. Like, maybe you can go get Jonathan Taylor, who's hurt right now, with that cast. I mean, you could put a package together, get Jonathan Taylor with those guys. I'd be looking to get actually a wide receiver. I mean,
who are you going to get? Derrick Henry or Saquon? Literally is what you have to shoot for right here.
Yeah, because you're already there. Like with Brees, I mean, you can go try to get Bijan, but I think he had London on that team, or he had Pitts, or might have had both. You don't want all three.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, got another question? Keep them coming, man. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Hit that like and subscribe. We'll keep going here maybe for another 15 minutes. We'll try to rapid fire through some of these and get to as many as we can. If you want to guarantee that we get to yours here in the next 15 minutes, make sure you send us a super chat, and we'll be sure to get to it. Otherwise, we'll probably go for like maybe another 15, maybe 20 minutes, depending on how things are going.
So we got no, did we go through that one? No, I think we did that. Hold on a second. John Eckler.
I think I might have the computer back up, so I'm going to pop out for just a minute. So get through as many as you can. I'll be right back.
So we got Eckler or Wan'Dale Robinson at flex non-PPR league. Wan'Dale Robinson at this point, man. That guy's doing some things here. But Eckler had a really decent game. I just don't know how he's going to keep that up. And if Neighbors doesn't come back from that concussion, he's going to give you some decent work right there. You know what I mean? So keep an eye on whether or not Neighbors comes back. And then that's why you're definitely starting Wan'Dale Robinson at that point. George Linden said, "What's up, man? Long-time fan here. I know you're up. What's up, man?" Andre did a trade earlier, fellas. What do y'all think? I traded Ramonde and Flowers for James Cook, half PPR. My running backs are Kamara and Cook now. I said that trade Ramonde for Flowers. That's not bad. Say Flowers for James Cook and half PPR. I like it. That's kind of the trade you need to be making. I like James Cook. He's been very solid this year. Half PPR. Ramonde is kind of like hit and miss right now, but and Zay Flowers specifically. So I like it. And your running backs are Kamara and Cook now. That's a solid start, man. Keep an eye on Kamara, though. He's questionable right now. I have him, and so I'm trying to keep on his injury right now. You got John coming in here. 12-team league, non-PPR, start 3 wide receivers, flex. JD5 here. We got Dobbins, Hubbard, A.J. Brown, Evans, McLaurin, Bowers, and then flex Eckler or Wan'Dale Robinson. Yeah, that's where we were talking about right now. Wan'Dale Robinson would be the flex. Again, keep an eye on an injury. I have Cooper Kupp, Rondé Stevenson, Purdy, Goddard on bench. Yeah, that's not a bad deal. You're doing good. That guy. Should I trade away Tank Dell for a better running back like Kyron Williams? I have Walker at RB, St. Brown. AJ Brown, who just came back, and Diggs at wide receiver. So you're looking to trade away Tank Dell for a better wide receiver. I'm not sure if I will move on Tank Dell. He's the numbers are nice for him this year. Um, I know these, and I think I forgot who went down over there in Houston. Um, so he's going to be getting some other numbers here. But he got 4 targets, 4 catches for 38 yards, and it's going to be coming after playing time with Nico Collins there with the hamstring injury. So I guess you're selling high on him. So shoot for it, go for it. Or should I trade away Achan and Tank Dell for a better running back like Kyron Williams? I have a Walker. Yeah. I think you could package even just with Tank Dell. You could probably get a better running back. I'm not sure if you're going to shoot for Kyron Williams. Maybe shoot a little higher than Kyron Williams, like a Ken Walker, maybe a Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, or even a Brees Hall that we're talking about buying low on those guys. I think that's who you should be shooting for instead of just Kyron Williams. Some of those guys. It says trade Mixon and Higgins for Lamb. If you can do it, I would. Lamb's going to be is going to be solid all year long. He's going to be number 1 wide receiver. He gets a bunch of targets over there in Dallas, and even when he's getting double teamed and whatnot, they're making sure he gets some looks. So he'll be fine. And then we got Joshua here coming in. Joshua Loya as Dell or JK at flex. My team is Jaden Daniels, Sidney Allen. I'm not sure about Sidney Allen, but Chase, Ayuk, Stevenson, Gibbs, Kincaid, and Neighbors, and JK at the flex spot. I'm a half PPR. Dell for JK at flex. I would do it. That's fine. I go JK at flex, man. But I mean, Nico down. Dell might get the looks that he's been sitting on. Chase and Ayuk just coming up. They're really good right now. Stevenson and Gibbs doing solid. Kincaid's been doing solid. Neighbors may or may not be out coming back from concussion. So I would flex with Dell because J.K. Dobbins is going to have some hard times right now, man. So we got Boston Rebels says, what should I trade Garrett Wilson for? Ooh, that's a good option. Now, what are your needs? That's a good question. Sometimes you're moving laterally for another wide receiver. Maybe you're looking for a tight end, improve your tight end situation, or you're looking to pick up a running back. If you're looking for pick up a running back, I think might need to pair him off with somebody else, not just Garrett Wilson alone to get a better running back on that case. Yeah, let me know who what give some more background on who your team, what your needs are. Because that'll kind of give me more of a who you could get for on that. Ross is almost coming back here, but honestly, I think we caught up with the chats here. I don't see anything new. We kind of went through everybody's stuff here tonight. And unless we, I
You
think,
made it?
yeah. I mean, we're at the end here. If
Good
you want to
stuff.
give us more info, who you're looking to shoot for, what are your needs on your team, if you're trying to trade Garrett Wilson for, and then we could kind of give you some tight end, running back, or wide receiver targets that you should be trying to get. Oh, here we go. You did. Thank you. As I don't really need anything, I got JD5, Gibbs, Connor, Amon-Ra, and Garrett and Debo. And he said, I just scared about Devontae and the Jets rumors.
Okay. So maybe
That's
depending on
why
your
he's-
bench. Yeah, maybe depending on your bench. I would like to see if you can maybe buy low on the MHJ owner, depending on how he feels about him. Because they're like literally back to back right now. I mean, as the JD5 owner, maybe you go get Scary Terry, in a piece. Maybe like a Chase Brown and a Scary Terry for Garrett Wilson. Something like that. Build out a little running back depth. Like that's kind of where I'd be shooting. Maybe you can put Garrett Wilson and somebody else for. I mean, you're probably not going to get Tyreek Hill, but like maybe shoot that way. Who else? T. Higgins might not be a bad target. Garrett Wilson for T. Higgins right now. What do you think about that, Frank?
For T. Higgins?
Yeah.
That might not be a bad. I mean, if that's the way you're trying to move laterally, like again, just a like wide receiver for wide receiver. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, because you don't want to just have Debo there, and I forgot whoever else he had, but yeah, maybe you can go trade Garrett Wilson for the Nico Collins owner right now. He's going to be out for 4 weeks, depending on that guy's record. He might be looking for a wide receiver. He might take Garrett Wilson. Maybe you throw in an extra piece to make it happen, make him feel good. A bench piece that maybe you got off the waiver wire. Open up a bench spot to help you get through these bye weeks as well. Throw Nico in your IR. That's what I would do. Keep us posted, Boston. Let us know, man. We do have
start sit for Thursday Night Football. We did that way earlier in the show. Check the timestamps when we get done. That'll be on there. But it was
I think that we started at the 5 minute mark. I think is about where that was.
5-10 minute mark. Yeah, 5-10 minute mark that we started at.
Yeah. So DK Metcalf, Boston. DK Metcalf. Garrett Wilson for DK Metcalf. You might be able to make that happen.
See,
go ahead.
I even like Mike Evans, but I know it's moving down a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Evans, Godwin.
Yeah. So George LeBron, I'm a super tricky spot this week. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I might have to not play defense. What you got going on? Tell us more about it. It's interesting. I hate that when it happens, but I always say try to start as many as you guys, unless you know that you can pull it off without getting the out, right?
Yeah, let us know here real quick, George. We got 4 more minutes here before
we got
our hard out.
And
we got like 130 people in here. Hopefully, you guys are hitting that like and subscribe button for us. If you're watching on Twitter, come pop us a subscribe really quick over here on YouTube, and then you can go back to Twitter or X and watch it there. But we do appreciate your support, man, as we're trying to hit that 2,000 subscriber mark. And I think hopefully tonight with you guys, we may have surpassed 1.3 thousand. So yeah, let us know, man. So we got another one. Go ahead.
Mark Lopez, it says lost Puka and Rice, thinking about trading Mason. What could you get from Mason, basically?
I would kind of shoot for that same type of realm. You might be able to get kind of the theme of the night. We've been saying a lot of Brian Thomas Jr., but maybe you can get like a Brian Thomas Jr. and another piece with that. Maybe like a Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs might be a little too high. But I mean, I would shoot for maybe like Marvin Harrison Jr. for Mason. If Marvin Harrison Jr. Owner needs someone, maybe go to the Christian McCaffrey owner, see what he has there. Maybe you can get something done there. So let us know what else kind of you're working with there with your team. And
he's just coming back from injury. Ayuk, who hasn't been doing too much, maybe buying high on that guy, but some guy maybe not move on him. But
maybe
with
someone's
back and everybody else, so right around that range is what you're looking at.
For sure.
And Boston did come back. This is my benches: Bijan, Allen, Chase Brown, Kraft, and Dunze, Sermon, and Juju. They must have picked up Juju. But my record is 1-4, so I couldn't trade for Nico for anyone on buy or IR.
Yeah. You're going to need someone now. He already has Chase Brown. And he was trying to get rid of Garrett Wilson. So maybe you can package Garrett Wilson. Maybe you could package.
But this is his bench, Raylan Allen, who's a handcuff, basically. Chase Brown, who's actually coming up now.
Yeah, maybe put Wilson and Odunze together. Yeah, Wilson and Odunze together and try to get. Honestly, man, I would honestly try to go for DK. Like I really like DK. I mean, he's sitting as a wide receiver 17 right now. I mean, him, Mike Evans, T. Higgins,
yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr. Like that's kind of where I'm shooting. Maybe you can get. And then anyone else than that is technically lower. Like I said, Wilson and Harrison Jr. like right on the same. Terry McLaurin's kind of in that same tier. Tyreek's below them, right? Right now. I mean, but again, he can't really wait on someone like that. So yeah, I mean, maybe Zay Flowers and someone.
Maybe Sarisha Shaheed. He's a little bit banged up right now.
Not with Spencer Rattler coming in. I'm kind of staying away from that at the moment.
That's true, huh? I didn't think about him right now.
Yeah, like you said, Brandon Ayuk might be a good piece there. Maybe George Pickens and something else if you kind of believe in that.
It does say thanks for the help, guys. New subscriber. That's what's up, Boston.
Oh, for sure. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So yeah, so hopefully that works.
So, okay, cool. So that's good to know. Thanks to George. Ron, thank you for mentioning that again. Do join our sleeper channel where we can get more in depth with your questions. We do. I mean, there's a lot of guys on there, and everybody give you an opinion as to why, and with good stats and or backup information as to what their stance is that way. So check it out. Put it in sleeper chat. Had Nico go down, and Devontae seems like he doesn't want to play Sunday unless he has another team. Might need a drop Bucky, Charb, or Braylon Allen. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I just pulled it up right now, and
I don't think he's playing at all. I think he's already said that he's injured, so he's not playing. Devontae Adams, right? He's not playing.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. They already said he's like doubtful or he's not playing.
And he needs a defense, so he might
drop somebody there. I mean, obviously, try to pull off the 2-for-1 Trey LeBron. I think that's what I kind of because I responded to this already, in the sleeper channel.
Oh, okay.
But
pull off a 2-for-1 so you could open up a spot.
Yeah, open up that spot. Again, even if he has to kind of quote unquote pay, just get somebody, package Bucky and Braylon Allen or Sharbs, and Braylon Allen or Sharbs and Bucky, like a combination of those two, and just go get one guy that you can have, as a nice starter or a handcuff. There, you kind of just have to trade up. Again, you might have to overpay for someone. But who knows? Maybe you can put those two guys, together, and just again get something because you're in a tough situation with an injury go down. You wouldn't be doing it unless you had an injury. So sometimes you're kind of just forced into making moves like that. Instead of giving someone away for free, I'd rather give away. I'd rather.
Because I am 5-0 though. You don't want to take a loss.
Maybe you can just run without a defense or whatever it is. Yeah, just go without a tight end. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I've done that before.
And Boston just said thanks, so he's going to go try to get a DK in the piece.
Hey, let's go. Let me know. Hey, I'm a big DK guy, even though I'm a Niners fan. I mean, maybe because he kind of torches us a lot of the times when we play each other, but I get a lot of looks at DK, man, and yeah, I like him, man, and he's been producing really well. And it wasn't even how we thought he was going to produce. He's been doing it without having the red zone looks that he normally gets in those end zone targets. Actually, JSN leads the team in end zone targets right now. I think with 5. I think DK only has like 1 end zone target. So
yeah, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, just new offense. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes.
So Alec Pack is here.
Keep me posted.
You mind helping me out with the trade targets? Yeah,
that's what we're here for, man. You better hurry up. We got like a couple minutes. Hurry up, Alec. Hurry up. Don't even waste time. Hopefully, you're thumbing it out.
Again, join the sleeper channel or join us next week here. We always doing a lot of live Q&A after we get through our regularly scheduled program. So check it out, man. And Mecca comes in here subscribed. That's what's up, man. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate it.
James Cook was on the injury report today with supposedly turf toe. What combo for Demont or Scary Terry for Etienne or Pollard? What combo? So he says for Demont. So he's trying to get Demont or Scary Terry for Etienne or Pollard.
I don't mind Scary Terry for ETN. That was actually kind of one of my examples in our thumbnail. Maybe that's really what brought you over this way, Mika. But yeah, I mean, I like going for Demont. He's someone I do like as well too. Yeah, I think Cook will be fine. But yeah, I mean, if you have Scary Terry, I mean, I would obviously try for Demont first, then ETN, and then Pollard. That's how I have them ranked. I could see some people may go Pollard over ETN. I just think Jacksonville's a little bit better of an offense than Tennessee. And Tennessee actually has a good defense, so which could benefit them trying to keep the game close and kind of run it out, limit possessions with Pollard. But Spears is still there. Got Bucky. So yeah, I mean, I'd prefer to go Demont, and then ETN Pollard.
There you go. And since he mentioned it, we do have our website.
I wouldn't trade Cook for
GetRightFF.com.
those guys.
No, you don't trade them away. No way. And we do have GetRightFF.com where you can check out our rankings. Myself, Anthony, and Classic Mike. We have our weekly rankings up there. So come check it out on GetRightFF.com. On that one, Mark Locus, he is 5-0. Thanks for the help. Okay, let's see what we got. And then Charb are my handcuffs. So Bradley and Charb are his handcuffs to Kenneth Walker and Bree Saw. So it's hard for me to drop them. You don't need to drop them. Again, trade them off. They're still pieces. People could also do that, but I mean, somebody may not pick them up for a week. Drop them late.
Yeah, so I guess Bucky. Yeah, and then when you're in bye weeks, you're going to be faced with a similar type decision. So maybe you just ride it out. I don't usually like trying to get my handcuffs until it's closer to playoff time or like closer to the trade deadline. I'd rather hold other people's handcuffs so that if they get hurt, like a Mason, then you can kind of sell them off, and it's not like, oh, I shouldn't trade this guy because then I might need him later, kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, these guys definitely have value right now. So yeah, I mean, I see how it's hard. So
yeah, especially after teams have gone to the bye, then it's easier to hold on to them because you're not leading those bench spots for bye weeks. You know what I mean? So Alec Pack did come in here. I want to read your question, man. Thank you for joining us. I have AJ Brown and Ingram out for weeks. I'm rocking with DK, Pittman, JMO, Tolbert. My QB room is Baker, Flacco, AR5, and Carr. So I'm rocking with K9, Monty, and Akers, Kraft, and Ingram, Charbo, and I drafted full PPR. Pittman might be out too this week.
Yeah, Pittman's going to be out too, but hopefully got AJ Brown coming back. Ingram's he still may not be back quite yet. But you have Tucker Kraft right now, so he's easy plug and play there. So I don't think you're missing anyone there. I like the K9 and Monty there. Akers is going to be useless here soon when Mixon comes back. He didn't really seize anything or eat into Mixon's workload at all there. So he'll be droppable here soon. Obviously, you have the Flacco AR situation. We're starting 3 wide receivers. Oh, it's 2 QB, not even super flex, huh? Okay, well, I like that handcuff then with AR and Flacco. Go back to the team again because I can't read the team.
No worries. Okay. I just want to give you a little info.
Yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that helps. So yeah, I mean, you're definitely gonna have to go after a wide receiver here, and yeah, that's tough because you have no car.
Oh, he's answering a Mecco there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough spot, man. I mean, you got some injuries going on there. Bring the team up again.
Oh, sorry.
You don't mind? Unless he comes out with something else. So
Antoine Brown and Ingram. I was just scrolling down just to make sure.
Yeah, actually, I mean, with AJ Brown coming back, I think you're going to be fine. You can hold off for Pittman to come back. JMO's already had his bye week. DK, that's nice. AJ Brown, DK, JMO, you're good there. You got Tolbert has some depth. Pittman coming back in a couple weeks. Akers is going to be droppable. Got your 2 quarterbacks there. Yeah, so and Sharps. So I mean, you could maybe try to ship Charbonnet. Or maybe Ingram if he's coming back, or Sharps and Kraft if you get word Ingram's coming back, and maybe grab a low end kind of wide receiver there. I don't think you'll get like a McLaurin or anything like that, but you can maybe shoot for maybe a Josh Downs, maybe a Wan'Dale Robinson, someone like that, just to get a little bit of more depth there. Jordan Addison might be a nice piece. Can't use him this week, but. Just a nice depth piece. Jordan Addison, maybe Zay Flowers, Christian Kirk, something like that. So that's what I would try to do. Just find that extra wide receiver.
That's what's up, Alan. I also sub too.
Appreciate it, man. There we go.
What's up, man? Thank you.
Hit that like button, man. Keep getting out to more people.
We're gonna
let's wrap it up. I hate to leave with 145 people in the room, but hey,
we had
we'll see you on Friday.
We answered as many questions as we could. We're past our hard out time, so we appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Please
put up the schedule real quick. Put up the schedule.
I'll get you right now. Give me 1 second. here's our schedule for the week. Monday nights we do a
See if the
waiver wire
banner's off.
overreaction, and then we kind of do Tuesday. We'll read that thing off while I do that. Sorry. Tuesdays we do a fantasy boardroom here with Tycoon. Wednesdays we got the buy low, sell high, and then Thursdays we got Phil Ruskin here with the extra point. On Fridays we got two shows, one at 6, one at 8, going on there. So for the sit starts for the week, so definitely check those out. 1 hour long shows on those as well. And Sundays we got 8 a.m. With Classic Mike for the active inactive Q&A, as well as some daily fantasy on that as well. So yeah, come join us on here. We're like throwing out content literally almost every day of the week here, and we got other guys coming in here who are also joining us and just dropping content when they can. We have our affiliate networks of the Fantasy Football Tavern, the Extra Point, and the Fantasy Boardroom, all linked down in the description here. Just do want to mention our sponsors are Get Right, Underdog Fantasy, and Trophy Smack, which didn't even do the read on Trophy Smack, but do check them out as well. Both use promo code Get Right for the products that they offer. So come go check out the customized Kirk Cousins chains, the custom rings, the belts that we have, and trophies. We did our giveaway for the Get Right Fantasy 1,000 subscribers, so we'll have another one maybe coming up at the 2K mark. That's what we're going to be doing at. So check us out. Please do like and subscribe. We do try to get to everybody's questions and give you guys the best insight that we can. So on that note, for Anthony, for Mike, for Dustin, for the
Kendall, Phil, Tycoon.
Tycoon.
We're growing over here, guys. Jack, Cody,
so many
Jeezy's coming soon. We got a lot of stuff for you guys, man. Content every day of the week.
So we appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, guys. Peace out, man. We'll be in touch again.
Later.
Oh,
we both did it.
White fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided.